I witnessed, recorded, and produced these videotapes of the Washington, D.C. hearing. Their authenticity is above question.
This is produced as part of the ongoing work on the website, thewaythetruthandthelife.net.
This is a hearing about the government licensing the electrocution of people to cause grand mal seizures. Think of the millions of dollars, taxpayers' money, spent to pay psychiatrists and their supporters and for the worldwide travel in putting this conference together, while the victims and opponents had to pay their own way.
Yes, because of memory loss, I do remember my name, which is Theater. And I'm the Florida representative for the Committee of Physical Psychiatry. And at this point, I wish the psychiatrist didn't exist because I'm very angry. I have stood here for 55 minutes, and I have a back injury from ECT, and I do want to be heard. I would like to suggest that there are other reasons that people become depressed than being mentally ill, and you can refer to my own personal testimony. I would like to suggest that every person who's going to receive ECT, if they must, receive a complete physical workup in a physically oriented hospital without the bias of mental disorder or mental illness on their records. And I'm glad that President Lincoln did not exist during the days of ECT. He's the most famous person to have had melancholia. As to informed consent, my husband was informed by two psychiatrists that, quote, ECT was a 100% cure, that I might suffer a slight headache and perhaps a few bruises. This was informed consent, and he signed the form because he assumed that professional persons were knowledgeable and as honest in their profession as we were in ours. The results also are in my testimony. I have read the APA's proposal consent form, and our committee has proposed its own consent form, 84P-0430, with the FDA. It is in understandable terms. I happen to be an educator, and I don't understand your terms. And an educator should be included with your booklets and whatever else you're going to put out to inform lay people. Included in our consent form is this information, that the one adverse, among others, effect is that in all cases, memory loss occurs. Had my husband received this information, he would not have signed those papers. He lives with guilt, and I live with results.
Could you just finish on this moment?
I'll finish as soon as I can. I represent over 70 participants of our committee. However, I am speaking for hundreds, maybe even thousands, of persons who cannot articulate for themselves because of what has happened to them. It has taken me 15 years after you got through with me to be able to stand up in front of you and say this to you. Last year, there were 5 persons who took FDA-approved medication because of memory loss. I don't know what it was. They became desperately ill and they were put into intensive care. Perhaps it was a fatality. I don't remember. However, this drug was immediately removed from the shelves, from the market, and Eli Lilly was sued. Now, according to the federal government,
I'm sorry.
well, I do want to be heard, and I'm going to be rude as you
Well,
are.
I'm afraid that there's other people who are waiting also.
Well,
We'll go up over time now. If you would, we would like to have a copy of your informed consent form with the materials that you recommend and put
I
in.
also want to ask you, do you consider the patient victims who have gone through this, with this device that the FDA has not taken off the shelf, any less valuable than these 5 persons and potential victims?
Thank you for your remarks.
One shock treatment can equal 150 joules of energy. This is equal to dropping a hammer on someone's head from higher than a 5-story building.
At the FDA hearings, the testimony on the reclassification of electroconvulsive devices cited the literature as whether signed or false, typically about 150 joules of energy in a treatment. With the new Thymatron electroconvulsive device, if you check out at 400 volts, maximum of 0.9 amps, and 320-some millisecond pulses.
Could you finish up your question, your remarks?
Yeah, I would like somebody to tell me. I'm a teacher as well as a physicist, and I brought a kilogram with me. Teachers like to demonstrate. Now, this is a kilogram. It's 2.2 pounds. Heavier than a hammer used at an amp. That I wonder if possibly like Dr. Stein could tell me how high I would have to drop this kilogram from in order to have it hit the ground with 150 joules of energy.
I don't know if that question is in the purview of the panel, but thank you for your report. I'd like to go on to the next person.
This is only 10 joules of energy. You're talking about dropping it from higher than a 5-story building. That's physics. Supposedly in pre-med backgrounds.
Thank you.
I never got
All right, out with your gum. Out with your gum.
Okay, this won't hurt. It'll be over in just a moment. What's that?
Conductant.
Oh, dabble, do you? Right, Mr. Jackson?
Open your mouth.
What's that?
This will keep you from biting your tongue.
Well,
Now just bite down on it. That's right. Just bite down. Now bite down on it.
Good. Are you ready? Here we go.